Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of Bobble Pod. Can't believe we're already on episode 5. We hope you've all been enjoying the content so far. Today's episode is all about creating an effective digital marketing strategy for your businesses. We've got a lot we want to discover today and help you with, getting and understanding why you need a strategy and taking through the whole process of creating a strategy for your businesses. So just to start off, we're going to introduce everyone. So I'm Manny, the CEO of Bobble Digital.
Hi everyone, I'm Claire, CEO of Trio Media.
Hi guys, I'm Anushka Takanyan, co-founder and CEO of Burnwe.
We've got a really insightful podcast to share with you all today. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't also believe that we're on episode 5, so it's great to have listeners all around the world. We've got a lot that we want to discuss today and provide some insights where we are right now in terms of the news here in the UK, in terms of what's happening on a global level as well. A lot of businesses in 2021 are focusing on recovery, but in order to recover, you need to have an effective digital marketing strategy in place. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. So why is it important to have a strategy in place? I'm going to kick things off. I'm going to talk about why it's important to have a strategy in place. The first thing is it gives you direction and a focus to work towards. The businesses that we're working with, the first thing we do is focus on strategy. And strategy isn't just like where we are, it's looking at where is the business right now, what are the pain points within that business in terms of what are they struggling on, what are they doing really well at, and then focusing on, right, where is that business helping to be in the next 3 to 6 months. Before the pandemic, in terms of 2019, we used to always work on a longer term strategy. But now I would say that we're telling businesses focus on a short term because the economic environment and the global pandemic environment is ever changing, considering that, here in the UK alone, we're in our third lockdown, which isn't going to end until June 21st at the earliest, based on the announcements that we had in February. So with everything going on globally and how different businesses are at different positions, and some trying to recover, some trying to build on growth, and some businesses doing extremely well, I believe that having a short-term strategy in place, and if you're going to focus on where to begin, understand where your business is, focus on your business objectives, and try and translate that into measurable, smart marketing objectives for you to achieve.
Yeah, I think the importance there as well, Manny, is knowing how to then budget for what you want to do, because without a strategy, costs can escalate pretty quickly. And I think maybe people who haven't put together a strategy before or haven't started a business before may think, well, actually, if I have to invest potentially in a strategy or in support, that's going to cost me more. I'll give it a go myself and see where I get to. But by doing that, you're not putting in place any tools to measure. So you may spend on one thing, you don't know if that's worked, you then go on and pay for something else without any real metrics in place or performance measurements to know that what you're doing is effective. And also without that initial piece of the strategy, you're then not really understanding who is this for, who is my audience. And all too often, I mean, I know for all of us, we're dealing with organizations all the time who are approaching us with regards to helping to share their brand message, generate leads, things like that. All too often you see people going, well, I don't really know, I don't know who my audience is. It's for everyone, anyone could buy this or whatever. And businesses don't always realize straight away that that can have a negative effect, and that by having a strategy and honing in on their audience, on the key channels they want to use, is actually going to allow them to be far more cost effective, but not just effective from a financial point of view, but effective operationally as well in terms of where they spend their time and efforts.
Just to add to what you have said, guys, so the same way works video marketing. So you can't just create videos without having it strategically tied with your marketing plans and goals. But what I would suggest, first of all, before creating any video marketing strategy, you need to have your marketing and digital marketing strategy ready, because it needs to be really tied together, really connected together to give you really good results. So basically, today I'm going to just give you some insights about video marketing strategy, how to plan it, what what's a bit differences with digital marketing strategy? What do you need to know better to create it really in a good way?
Yeah, I think it's good because strategy is really, really important right now. Businesses are struggling. They're struggling in so many different departments within their business that having a clear marketing strategy can actually help support the wider elements and remits within a business. So I'm actually going to put this question out to everyone in terms of, are there specific tools and models that we each use or follow that we can give advice to, our listeners? For example, like here at Bobble, we use a mixture of like the AIDA model. So anyone who doesn't know that, that's attention, interest, desire, action, and following that. But we have our own methodology around peer, which is all about planning, implementing, evaluating, and repeating. How does that work for everyone else?
We find we approach it based on the needs of the client. So similarly, we use popular models like AIDA. Again, we also have frameworks that we've adapted. So for example, a piece we use to help clients with their positioning and messaging is something that we've learned and picked up from through a Gartner specialist and time that I worked with them a few years ago. So that can be a really useful exercise for people to go through. Who is it for? What does it do? And it could be anything. It could be your service, your product, your business in general. What makes you different? How does it compare to one of your lead competitors? And that type of thing. And usually taking people through that process can really help them start forming an identity for their business and understanding then when we work through other models such as AIDA in terms of how their particular business feeds into it. And I think that's key. And, for us all as professionals to take a model as we are doing and then show a client how we can actually personalize it to their business. And, if anyone's going away and going, what is this? I'm going to look into it more and looked up the AIDA model. Yes, you're going to start with a general overview of the different stages in the buying funnel that you can take people through from awareness right through to action. But it's always about looking at what does that mean to you and, what channels can you use to raise awareness based on your target audience? And then are those channels going to differ at the interest stage? What do you do differently at that point? And I think, this raises a key part of the discussion today, both around defining target audience and the channels that you're going to use as well. But we could probably come back to those. I didn't know if you wanted to add something to that, Anush.
Yeah. Video marketing strategy actually a bit new to comparing to digital marketing strategy because it came to market with video marketing. So basically, of course, we can also concentrate on some popular already methods of creating video marketing strategy. And in the market, let me say that video marketers creating it in a really totally different ways, but the idea and end results, let me say, is the same. So basically, for us to make process easier for the clients and for those who are just starting, I make it simple, just answering to several questions. So it can lead to understanding your goal, your target audience, understanding which type of videos to use, where to distribute at the end your videos, and finally, of course, optimizing it and understanding the data and analytics of it. So as you said, Claire, we are going to deeply discuss all this together during this podcast. So this is the way that we usually create a video marketing strategy.
I think I was going to say a key thing then is taking it from, well, we kind of know what's important and why strategy is important right now for businesses. It's going to give them a clear direction to kind of grow online. There's a lot of businesses out there that before the global pandemic and, the economical impact everyone was feeling was in terms of weren't really already online. So they've had to adapt their strategies. They've had to adapt their business models in some way. But I think what kind of process it's helping our audiences and listeners understand what kind of process they need to follow. Everything from understanding the audience budget, their website physical presence, creative such as video, understanding where the competitors' positioning. So I think it'd be good for us to kind of quickly help our audiences understand that and go through that in terms of the process of going through the different elements they should consider to create an effective strategy. And I think let's start off with audience. I think the first thing I would highlight is understanding your customers is the most important element. It's, as you alluded, Claire, that it comes down to, don't just think, oh, our customers are everyone. You have a certain amount of customers, and if you're an e-commerce or an online retailer, you just need to look at who's purchasing. You need to be breaking down those demographics. If you have a WooCommerce site, or you're on Shopify or Squarespace, you should be looking at your website data and understanding the demographics of the people that are converting. If you're linking in your Google Analytics, it's giving you a breakdown of who's visiting your website by age, gender, location. So this starts helping you narrow down your audience in terms of, do most of my audience come from, the south of the UK? Do they come from Europe or Germany? Where internationally are my customers coming from predominantly, and what is the percentage of those customers in that area? If you're at a global scale, then you need to be breaking it down by specific region and continent. If you're at a country scale, you need to be breaking it down by county or specific areas within the country. If you're just a local business, then you need, such as, let's say you're in Yorkshire, as we are, then you might want to split it by North Yorkshire, West Yorkshire, South Yorkshire, East Yorkshire, and break it down. You could even break it down to city areas if you're just in the West Yorkshire county, such as Leeds, Bradford, or York, Sheffield, etc. So it really comes down to, understanding the data that comes from your website, the data that comes from your Google Analytics, but then there's also that data that comes from your in-platform activity, from Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, whatever digital social channels, YouTube for video that you're looking at.
Yeah, and I agree with that, but I'd also suggest we need to take a step back, because all those channels are suggesting that someone, is already in those places. Whereas if someone's listening to this and they're looking to create a digital marketing strategy because they're not selling online yet and they don't have an ad strategy and they don't have analytics, people then may ask, where do I start? And so it really comes down to, starting to build a profile of the type of people that may buy your services. So I'll use our own company as an example. So Trio Media, we target small to medium businesses. We know we're not working with the huge brands, so we're not ever going to try to say, yeah, it's for everyone. We found our niche. We work with small to medium businesses. Typically, we have hotspots. We've got 5 sectors that we've identified work really well for us based on past experience in the business in terms of knowledge in the team, and also where we fit well into, and then the characteristics of those people. What is it that they're looking for? What are their key concerns? And I had a client, it's very rare, provide us with an amazing document yesterday that more people should produce, where they had 5 different profiles. Like, client A is going to be this age, this gender, these are their concerns, this is the type of job they have, this is the type of car they might drive. It's a car related business, so that's why that was important. But really start to look into what are their concerns. Is it more likely to be a female or a male, or may you have a profile for each? Is it a younger age group, an older age group? You need to take into consideration how much your product or service is, in terms of then how much disposable income you could expect someone to have. And then with certain levels of disposable income, you can then start drawing other characteristics as well, in terms of the type of things they may be interested in, that then allow you to get, really targeted and focused. So, for example, if a product or service is aimed at kind of affluent middle-aged men, you then may be able to draw some assumptions that they would have interests in golf, in nice cars, and in things like that. So when you're looking at other strategies or things to promote within it, you already then know, I know what interests my audience, and therefore I will play to that, and I will appeal towards them. So really thinking about what those characteristics are, and let's not forget that this could be B2B or B2C, and this exercise is still really relevant. I explained about, for